Okay, here is part 4, and what I hope will be the last part. I'm going to try to get all this in here of the video lecture series on psychology and humor. I'm going to use humor here as an opportunity to introduce you to different parts of the brain. The brain and humor, the emotions produced by a funny situation, emotional part of humor. The getting it part of the joke is the cognitive part. So the emotions that you feel when you're laughing, that's different. The getting it part, where you actually process it, that involves actually thinking it through and understanding. Maybe there's cultural context, maybe it's specific to certain settings. Also, moving of the muscles of the face to smile. So that's the motor part of humor. So humor involves a lot of different parts of the body and different parts of our functioning. Other areas of the brain, such as the temporal lobe of the cerebral cortex, may also participate in laughter and humor. Now, the temporal lobe, and you're going to want to have these too, the temporal lobe may be largely responsible for laughter and humor. The temporal lobe is one of 4 lobes that we're going to talk about, making up what's called the cerebral cortex. The temporal lobe is responsible for speech, mental processing, comprehension, verbal memory, and visual processing. So, as you could understand, getting a joke, understanding the joke, laughing, processing that information is going to come largely from this lobe. And that, just if you kind of want an idea of where the cerebral cortex is in the temporal lobe. There you go. Now again, we're going to talk about the 4 different lobes. We've already talked about the temporal lobe, which is right here. You can see where that's located in the brain. The cerebral cortex is the layer of the brain often referred to as gray matter. You'll want to know this. The cortex is gray because the nerves in this area lack the insulation that makes most other parts of the brain appear to be white. Most of the actual information processing in the brain takes place in the cerebral cortex. So the fact right now that you're looking at this stuff, either you're writing down notes or you're taking pictures of it with your phone and processing it to some extent that way, your cerebral cortex is helping you process this information. Moving on here. The temporal lobe is located on the bottom section of the brain. This lobe is also the location of the primary auditory cortex, which is important for interpreting sounds and the language that we hear. The hippocampus is also located in the temporal lobe, which is why this portion of the brain is also heavily associated with the formation of memories. Damage to the temporal lobe, can lead to problems with memory, speech perception, and language skills. Now next, the frontal lobe. You're going to want to understand what the frontal lobe is. The frontal lobe is located at the front of the brain. If you go back a few slides ago, you'll see where the frontal lobe is located. It's associated with reasoning, motor skills, and higher level cognition, as well as expressive language. I'm going to kind of skip through some of this here. Damage to the frontal lobe can lead to changes in sexual habits, socialization, and attention, as well as increased risk-taking. Now, there has been some research that's not conclusive, but suggests that sex offenders, people who engage in very dangerous, strange, illegal sexual behaviors, may have damage to their frontal lobes. Next, the parietal lobe. Again, you could go back a few slides and see where the parietal lobe is located. It's located in the middle section of the brain and is associated with processing tactile sensory information, like things you can feel, like pressure, touch, pain. People who have damage to the parietal lobe may not be able to experience pain. They would maybe step on a nail and wouldn't feel it. That would be kind of dangerous. This portion of the brain is also known as the somatosensory cortex. Damage to this lobe can result in problems with verbal memory, an impaired ability to control eye gaze, and problems with language. in the occipital lobe, the last of the four lobes that we'll discuss here, is located at the back portion of the brain and is associated with interpreting visual information and stimuli. It receives and interprets information from the retina of the eyes, which are located in the occipital lobe. Damage to this lobe can cause visual problems such as difficulty recognizing objects, and inability to identify colors, and trouble recognizing words. Okay, changing subject just a bit here. Humor and relationships. Incorporating more humor and play into your daily interactions can improve the quality of your love relationships, as well as your connections with family members, friends, coworkers, etc. Using humor in relationships allows you to be more spontaneous. Humor gets you out of your own head and away from your own troubles. Let go of defensiveness. Laughter helps you forget judgments, criticisms, and doubts imposed upon you by others. Release inhibitions. Your fear of holding back and holding on to things are set aside. So, and the last one, express your true feelings. Deeply felt emotions are allowed to rise to the surface more when humor is injected into your relationship. The next one that you'll want here. Shared laughter is one of the most effective tools for keeping relationships fresh and exciting. All emotional sharing builds strong and lasting relationship bonds. But sharing laughter and play also adds other things: joy, vitality, and resilience. Humor is a powerful and effective way to heal resentments, disagreements, and just psychological or emotional pain. And it also can unite people during difficult times. So the benefits of laughter, this is our last slide here. The mental health benefits of laughter: adds joy and zest to life, eases anxiety and fear, can relieve stress, it improves your mood, enhances resilience. In other words, your resistance against problems or stressors or anxieties, depression. Some of the social benefits of laughter: it can strengthen relationships, your intimate relationships. I know some of you have significant others. If you laugh together, it can actually make your relationship stronger. Family members, friends that you have can also strengthen those relationships. Also, laughter attracts other people to us. If we're laughing and having a good time, other people see that and a lot of times may want to be a part of that. So it can attract others to us. Laughter can enhance teamwork. We talked about how at work, laughter increases work productivity. It keeps more employees on the job for longer periods of time. It can also help to diffuse conflict and also promotes group bonding. So those are the mental health and social benefits of laughter. And that is the end of the last of these four installments for the psychology of humor. Thank you.